Well, good afternoon, Michael Lazaroff from Signature Cruise Experiences, and I'm here with a lot of members of our team, and we're going to present to you a webinar on a Chris Botti at C3. Hopefully, we're going to provide you with a lot of good information, answer your questions, and let you know about this terrific cruise. We have a lot of people signed up, so we're going to wait just a couple of minutes and I'll come back and we will begin. Thank you very much. Okay, we're back. Again, my name is Michael Lazaroff. I am the executive director of Signature Cruise Experiences. And today we're going to be talking about Bodie at Sea, which is our third sailing of this amazing program and the first time that we are sailing on this program from the West Coast. We have a really interesting itinerary for this cruise. We're going to be leaving from Los Angeles, and we're going to be overnighting in San Francisco and spending a full day in Victoria before we wind up in Vancouver. We're going to be talking about that and all of the amazing opportunities that itinerary presents for us. It's really like having two cruises. We're going to have our customary music cruise with all of the shows and all the events on board the ship that we typically have. But unlike our other programs or many of our other programs, when we're docked, we're going to have activities curated just for you by us that relate not only to the city, but to the world of jazz and also the world of music. When we first learned about this itinerary as a possibility, we thought that it was a terrific opportunity to present jazz, not so much that this area is inherently a jazz area, but the lifestyle of going to Napa, Sonoma, San Francisco, Victoria, the West Coast was so consistent with the love of jazz and of the love of music. We have a terrific lineup. We're going to be talking about that. But before I introduce the next speaker from our company, I want to remind folks that we've done this cruise once. In the fall, we did Journey of Jazz. It was the opposite path for the same itinerary. We started in Vancouver and then we went to Victoria and then San Francisco and then Los Angeles. I've been doing cruises now for 26 years and we've done well over 100 of full ship charters. I will tell you that the A Journey of Jazz cruise on this itinerary was clearly one of the most fun and exciting programs that we have ever done. Uh, I watched all of our guests when we were in San Francisco, getting on buses to go to Napa, Sonoma. I saw them get on the Napa Valley wine train. They went to fabulous restaurants, and then taking our guests to a show at SF Jazz Boat Days was really exciting. And again, it was like having two full cruises. One was a cruise like we normally do with all of our music on the ship, and one was a fantastic curated on land excursions produced by us for you. I'm going to turn this over to members of our team now. And if you have any questions that you would like us to address, just type them in the Q&A box. And if it's of a general nature, we will answer it in a real time at the end. And if it is related more to your particular situation, we will contact you directly with an answer. And I hope that's okay. But we're here today to provide you with information. So now we have a special visit from our host, Chris Botti. That's what it says.
Hi, everyone, and first of all, Happy New Year. I'm trumpeter Chris Botti, and I'm thrilled to announce once again that we're going to set sail for Botti at Sea. I want to personally thank Michael Lazaroff for making this such a fantastic reality for me. It's something that I've always thought about doing. We had our first 2 years that set sail from Miami down to the Caribbean. And this year, in September, September 18th to the 25th, is going to be unusual and so much fun. I grew up in Oregon, so I'm a West Coaster at heart. But I must tell you, it's the variety that I love. 2 years leaving in Florida, and then this one coming up on the West Coast. And it gives everyone in the United States, wherever you are geographically, the opportunity to jump on board with us. And I'm absolutely thrilled to set sail for year number 3. It's such a highbrow music cruise. And that perhaps, even more than where we're set sailing from or however many years we've been doing it, it's the variety and the artistic level of these artists that are so radically great, even if they're not jazz, even if they're not pop, even if they're classical or whatever. That's the thing that's the most gratifying to me. And I think this cruise is one of the only places that you can find this sort of variety, but all on such a super high level. And I'm just thrilled to have my name on the front of the ship. Now, I can't speak for every cruise, but for my cruises and the ones that I've been on in the past, a lot of them set sail and they go to island destinations that everyone can get off and enjoy sunshine and all that stuff. This year on our West Coast run-up on Botti at Sea, we're doing some things that are quite different, including a Napa Valley wine excursion, but also concerts at SF Jazz in San Francisco. And that is also kind of like a tourist destination, but it has to do with music as well. One of the things that's been most gratifying for me is how into the music the people that have come on Botti at Sea have been. It's not just a tourist destination, it's really an applause for all these fantastic artists. They go to the master classes, they attend all the interviews, and we're so looking forward to doing it all again. And then this year with a little bit of a twist, getting off of Napa, going to SF Jazz, and then of course going up to Vancouver and Victoria and having Elvis Costello get on and wow the crowd. It's going to be very special. Again, in wrapping up, I want to thank everyone for joining the live stream. And as a personal extension, my incredible gratitude to Michael Lazaroff to not only have me do this. You know, I've known Michael for many, many years. I've gotten to do his other cruises, and he's been on me to ask me to do my own cruise. And I just feel so gratified at the way he's handled it and the way that he's put all these artists together and made all the deals happen and made everything so smooth for me personally. We want to thank everyone in advance for joining us in September and wish everyone on the live stream and your family all the best for 2026 and many more years to come.
Well, that was a lovely note from a Chris Botti, our host. I have known Chris for a very long time. He is a very special talent, and I always thought that he would be the perfect host for a music cruise, and I was right. Plus, he has the ability to cause other great artists to want to sail with him and to be part of that cruise. For the lineup, we would like to tell you some things about the individual performers, and I'm going to turn this over to someone who is new to a signature cruise experiences, but certainly not new to the music world. This is a guy who I've known for many, many years. He has a tremendous background and credentials. I have wanted him to be part of our company forever. And after you listen to him talk about the artist, you will understand why. So I'm turning this over to our new talent coordinator and director, Gene Dobbs Bradford.
Thank you very much. One of the things that I really love about the lineup for Chris Botti at Sea is the sophistication of it as well as the excellence. This is something for people who really like an eclectic blend of sophisticated music, and I think it's very much in keeping with the type of music that Chris does. Things that cross boundaries, that bring different elements of things in. We have the great Elvis Costello, one of the great pop artists of our time. Boz Scaggs, for me, he's a legend. I'm looking forward to rocking out to the Lido Shuffle and hearing the lowdown. Absolutely fantastic. He's a living legend. Melody Gardot, a wonderful singer. And speaking of singers, of course, Peebo Bryson with Regina Bell. We know that they also had a number of very successful duets. So we're going to get to hear from them each doing their own shows because they both have their set of hits. But no doubt we'll be able to hear them sing together. So it's really going to be a wonderful group of headlining shows. Of course, Chris is going to have his shows, and he's going to be working with some wonderful musicians. We do have many artists on the ship are traditional jazz, straight ahead jazz, if you will. Folks like Wycliffe Gordon and Herlin Riley, Benny Benack and Terrell Stafford, Reuben Rogers. Those guys are going to make up the core of groups that are going to perform with other folks. But we also have some fantastic Latin jazz with Harold Lopez Nussen. I will tell you this, that show is like mixing TNT and dynamite. If you really enjoy some hot Latin jazz, you're going to love him. Taylor Eichstein and John Splitoff are two folks who also, much like Chris Botti, cross many different lines and bring a lot of different styles into what they do. John Splitoff, of course, so soulful, just a wonderful singer. We've got some fantastic representations by the ladies as well, with Morgan James, who can do it all. Veronica Swift, very well known for her more traditional jazz singing, but Candace Springs, who brings a new flavor, mixing a lot of R&B and soul into the jazz setting. So it's a really fantastic thing. Also, in the if you bringing a little bit from the smooth jazz world, but also some from, I would say, more from her association with Prince. She brings that Minneapolis funk in, and that's Candy Dolfer. She's just extraordinary, a killer performer. All of her shows are so polished and fresh. It's a joy to watch. So we have a killer lineup. And we even have some comedy with Alonzo Bowden, who I've gotten to know and gotten to enjoy his comedy, which I think everybody's going to be. So something a little bit different, even though we do have plenty of music. But Alonzo is not only a great comedian, but also a lover of music, and really brings a great presence to this. So this is a really strong lineup, as I say, very sophisticated, very eclectic, but also it's just fun. It's music that you and your special one are going to be able to look into each other's eyes when you hear all this beautiful romantic music. You're going to have a wonderful time. And I think with that, um, I will send things over to Brad, who's going to talk about the excursions that we have.
Thanks so much, Gene. Really appreciate it. Hello, everyone. My name is Brad Pavlik. I'm the Director of Cruise Operations for Signature Cruise Experiences. Really excited to talk with you all about the excursion program that Michael had briefly mentioned in his opening. As you can see, we have an excellent lineup that Michael went over, leaving out of Los Angeles, stopping for 2 full days in San Francisco, 2 sea days before we call on Victoria, which is one of the most absolutely beautiful cruise ports in all of North America, and finishing the cruise in Vancouver. So again, we are very, very excited about this lineup and what it allows us to do not only on the ship, as Gene and Michael have talked about, but also off the ship from an excursion standpoint. Moving on to the next slide. Okay, we are going to talk about, as Michael had mentioned earlier, our Napa Valley Wine Train tours. We have 2 different Napa Valley Wine Train tours that are going to be available both days that we are in port in San Francisco on September 20th and the 21st. The first tour is our Gourmet Express Lunch Tour, which is on our next slide. So, Gourmet Express Lunch Tour is really going to kind of take you back into kind of a yesteryear type feel when train travel was really luxurious. It's a 1915 Pullman rail car, and myself and a few members of our team had a chance to do this tour. The carriage is absolutely beautiful. You are going to get a 3-course lunch while you have a tour of Napa Valley. So again, it is just a really, again, takes you back to this yesteryear luxury train travel era while you have a really fantastic lunch, a welcome glass of sparkling wine, and then also a great wine list that is available while you're on the train. The second train tour that we're going to do is Vista Dome Lunch. Now, the Vista Dome Lunch, you'll go onto a second story of a train carriage, and this is a 1952 Pullman carriage. It is one of 10 like this that was designed, and it's one of 10 existing in the world, and it is a 360-degree overview, all glass. So again, you are in this Vista Dome. You'll have a 4-course lunch and a wine country inspired meal while you take a tour of the Napa Valley. Again, the Vista Dome really provides, from the second story of the train, an incredible view of the Napa Valley while you enjoy a fantastic 4-course lunch. Okay, so we not only have the train tours, we're also going to be visiting a number of wineries. And again, our team had the opportunity to visit these wineries and put these tours together. So again, I think you all are going to really enjoy these. And as Michael mentioned, we had done this cruise before, and we had the opportunity to put these tours on, and are very excited to present them to you. So again, we have a number of tours on both the 20th September and the 21st. On the 20th, we will go. Oh, thank you. On the 20th, first winery we will visit is Sterling and Frank Family. Those tours will be together on the 20th of September. So Sterling Vineyard is the unique thing about it is 300 feet above sea level. So you will take a gondola up to Sterling Vineyard, and the winery itself is absolutely beautiful. It has it's designed after Greek architecture, and it resembles architecture that you'd see in Mykonos. So again, it's a very open air winery that sits. You have to take a private gondola up to 300 feet, and this focuses on Bordeaux inspired wines. So people who are into your big cabs, your big Merlots, your Syrahs, this is a tour for you. Now, Sterling is going to be paired with Frank Family, which is on our next slide. So Frank Family Vineyards has been around since 1993, but over the last 10 years, the wines have really blown up and become incredibly popular. They have won Best Overall Winery a number of times in Napa for their Chardonnays and their sparkling wines. So once you visit Sterling Vineyard, you will then go to Frank Family, have a tour of the property, and you will have a lunch that will have a 3-course lunch with wine tasting in a room that kind of overlooks the whole winery. So again, it's you kind of get the early part of the tour where you take the gondola up to Sterling and you get a tour and a tasting there, and then you'll finish at Frank Family with a great lunch and wine tasting. Okay, Donham Estate, a really, really kind of cool concept and very different. Donham has one of the largest art collections in the world on their property. So it's a 200-acre estate, and they have over 60 sculptures on the property. So you're going to get a tour of this incredible, art offerings that they have. But this is a tour for people who are really into Pinot Noirs. They specialize in Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, and that is really what they're known for. So if you are into Pinot Noir and art, this is a tour for you. And it's going to be available on both September 20th and the 21st. We're going to pair it with different wineries each day. So we'll move on to the next slide for the first pairing. So on the 20th, you're going to visit Donum, but then you will finish with lunch at Buena Vista. Buena Vista is the oldest premium winery in the Sonoma region. And one of the really cool things about Buena Vista is the lunch is actually connected with a restaurant called Girl and the Fig, which is one of the best restaurants in downtown Sonoma. So again, you'll go to Donum, have tasting there. You will then go to Buena Vista, where you will have lunch, another tasting, but that will be paired with lunch from Girl and the Fig. So again, really comes together for a great day of featuring Sonoma food and wine. All right, on the second day, on September 21st, you will visit Etude Winery. Now, Etude pairs very well with Donum, again, because this is a very, very Pinot Noir and Chardonnay heavy tour. So again, for those that are really into the Pinot Noirs and the Chardonnays, Donum and Etude on day 2 while we were in port, September 21st, would be a great option for you. Again, you'll visit Donum first. You would get a tour of the grounds and the incredible art collection, and you would finish at Etude with a great lunch and tasting with their Pinot and their Chardonnays. Okay, Francis Ford Coppola Winery, very, very popular winery in the Sonoma region that I'm sure most of our guests are familiar with. Focused on Cabernets, Zinfandels, and Merlots, but really, really cover the gauntlet in their wines on what they have available. Now, one thing that is fascinating about this tour, you will visit Francis Ford Coppola Winery. You will do a director's cut tasting, but you're also going to get tour of the grounds. And across the grounds of the winery, there is a number of paraphernalia from Francis Ford Coppola from his movies. So items from The Godfather are on display there. Apocalypse Now. It's again a really fascinating winery, and it combines not only great wine tasting and a great lunch, but a huge piece of Hollywood history from one of the greatest directors of all time. So again, a very different yet unique wine tour for those that want to kind of combine not only some tastings and lunch, but also a huge history of Francis Ford Coppola and some of the movies that he has been involved with. Okay, culinary tours. We have a number of culinary tours both days that we are in San Francisco. We have been very, very fortunate in putting these tours together to work with Michael Bauer. Some of you, especially some of those on the West Coast, may know Michael Bauer. He is former restaurant critic at the San Francisco Chronicle for over 20 years and single-handedly the most knowledgeable foodie that I have met in my life. He has curated all of these meals that we have for you. Each day that we're in port, we will have a breakfast option or a brunch option, a lunch option, and dinner options on the first night. And then the second day, we have a breakfast and multiple lunch options. And again, these were all curated by Michael Bauer. Worked very closely with him for them, and I think you all are in for some really great culinary experiences. So we move on to the next slide and start talking about each restaurant. So first day that we are in San Francisco on the 20th, there's a brunch opportunity at Abaca. Abaca has been recognized by the New York Times as one of the US's best 50 restaurants. And it is a restaurant that mixes Filipino and California cuisine. The owners are both from the Philippines, and they've kind of mixed this with, again, California cuisine and put together just a very different dining experience. This tour was one of the most popular tours we did when we called on this itinerary. last September. So again, anyone who wants something a little bit different, off the beaten path, a mix of Filipino and California cuisine at Abaca. And again, this is going to be curated not only by Michael Bauer, who will be there, but also the owners, Francis and Dion Ang, who are the founders and owners of Abaca. Moving on to the next slide. Oh, sorry forgive me, and my mistake. Okay, on the 20th still, we have lunch at Yangsing. So Yangsing is largely considered the best dim sum restaurant in San Francisco. Restaurant was founded in 1958, family owned and operated, and it is still family owned and operated. So again, this was Michael Bauer's hand down selection as the best dim sum in San Francisco. So again, anyone who is interested in experiencing that while you're in San Francisco, probably the best place in North America to find dim sum, this is a tour for you. Dinner at A16. This is a new tour that we were very fortunate to be able to add to our excursion experience this year. So A16 is an Italian restaurant co-founded and operated by Shelley Lindgren. It is named after A16, as many of you know, highway that goes directly through Italian wine country. Again, the owner and co-founder of the restaurant, Shelley Lindgren, will host this meal. And she has been knighted by the Italian government for her knowledge of Italian wine. She is a master sommelier, which there are under 200 master sommeliers within North America. So she will curate this experience and walk you through an Italian wine pairing with each dish that you will have. So again, a new experience this year that we are really excited to be able to offer to you. And then lastly, on the 20th, dinner at Seven Adams. Really interesting statistic or fact about Seven Adams. Seven Adams is the fastest restaurant in San Francisco history to achieve a Michelin star. They did this in under a year when they opened. So this is going to be a bespoke menu that the chef is going to create for you all. California-inspired cuisine, but again, Michelin star restaurant. And this would be the closest fine dining. Someone is looking for more of a fine dining experience in the evening. This would be the tour that would be of interest to you. Okay, moving on to September 21st, the following day. Breakfast at Parachute. So Parachute is a brand new bakery that opened less than a year ago. In fact, our guests last September were the first people to actually dine in the restaurant. So the restaurant or the bakery is owned and operated by Alex Hong, who is a Michelin is the chef at Michelin star restaurant Sorrel. And this is really think of it as a high-end bakery. So anyone who is into French croissants, pain au chocolat, anything of that nature, this would be of interest to you. You're going to get a full tour of the bakery and the kitchen. And then Michael Bauer, again, will be there to curate this entire experience with Chef Alex. So we did this last year. It was incredibly popular amongst our guests and got absolutely fantastic feedback. The next lunch experience is a new experience for us this year. This is lunch at Water Bar. Water Bar sits right on the water and with views of the Bay Bridge. So it's actually an outdoor dining experience where you'll have views of the Bay Bridge. And the interesting part about Water Bar is they actually have the largest raw bar in the United States. So if you are into seafood, oysters, mussels, scallops, this would be the culinary excursion for you. And then finally, we will have another lunch opportunity at Skoma's on the afternoon of September 21st. Skoma's is third generation family owned and operated seafood restaurant. It was founded in 1965. It is located at Pier 47 at Fisherman's Wharf. You will have lunch in a private room at SCOMA's, but you are actually going to have a tour of their private dock area. One interesting thing about SCOMA's in their history, if you date it back to the 60s and the 70s, they had an arrangement with all of the fishermen that they would get free coffee and breakfast if they brought their catch to SCOMA's first. So that is a tradition that has maintained. So while you're having lunch, you will see fishermen bringing their catch directly to the restaurant. Again, you will get the opportunity to tour their pier where the fish are actually brought into the restaurant, and then have a great lunch in a private room there. And again, this will be curated and hosted by Michael Bauer. Okay, we have some excellent sightseeing tours as well in San Francisco. There's obviously a lot to see in San Francisco. First tour that we have scheduled for that day is Sausalito and Muir Woods. So you will leave the ship, you'll cross the Golden Gate Bridge and head over to Sausalito. For anyone that has not been to Sausalito, it is a very quaint kind of extension of San Francisco, filled with art galleries, small cafes, and restaurants. So you have an opportunity to tour Sausalito. You will then board a bus and head to the Muir Woods National Monument, where you will tour the 550-acre property. And this really is going to give you great photo opportunities of the massive redwoods that are in that property. So this is a half-day tour that really combines art, nature, and history together. Really fun tour, and anyone who is interested in kind of getting a good, great pictures from the Golden Gate Bridge, but also visiting Sausalito and Muir Woods, this would be a great tour option for you. Alcatraz and Sausalito. So Alcatraz, you will take a ferry over to Alcatraz Island, where you will get to explore the prison and have a tour of the prison. Once you do that, you will head over to Sausalito and again have a tour of Sausalito and get to visit everything that they have to offer there. So again, this gives you the option of Sausalito, but mixes in Alcatraz, where our first tour gives you the option of Sausalito, but gives you the Golden Gate Bridge and the Muir Woods. San Francisco and Golden Gate Bridge tour. It's another tour that is an option for everyone. And this is going to be a panoramic kind of tour of the city. You're going to go over the Golden Gate Bridge. You'll visit Golden Gate Park, Twin Peaks, Land's End. You'll visit Fisherman's Wharf, Ghirardelli Square. So again, this is really a great half-day tour of a number of the highlights of what San Francisco has to offer. And then our final tour of the day, 360-degree view of Sausalito and the Golden Gate. This is a great tour for anyone who is really into photography. You're going to visit a number of highlights, panoramic areas where you're going to have great pictures of Golden Gate Bridge, the overall city of San Francisco. Again, anyone who is into photography or wants to get viewpoint pictures of the city and learn more about some of those interest points, this would be the excursion for you. All right, moving on to the next slide. Okay, Victoria. As I mentioned earlier, one of the most beautiful cruise ports in North America is the island of Victoria. We have 3 great sightseeing tours on this day. The first one is a Zodiac and whale watching tour. So you will board a Zodiac on this day, and then you are out looking for wildlife. Things that have been seen in the past include orcas, humpback whales, minke whales, seals, sea lions. You'll see coastal bird life. Again, anyone who is interested in kind of being on the water for half a day and having an opportunity to experience some wildlife up close, this would be an excellent tour option for you. Cradock Castle and Bouchard Gardens is our next tour that is available on this day. These are 2 really iconic landmarks in Victoria. Bouchard Gardens are one of the largest and most beautiful gardens in North America. You'll have an opportunity to tour these gardens. And then this is paired with visiting Cradock Castle, which is a National Historic Site in Canada that has a very large collection of stained glass windows and ornate woodwork, and really kind of takes you back to a grandeur of 19th century Victorian era type castle. And then our final tour on this day is Bouchard Gardens Tea and City Highlights. So this tour will give you a full city tour of Victoria, but it will finish then at Bouchard Gardens, where you'll not only have a tour of Bouchard Gardens, but you will finish with a traditional English high tea. So kind of something different, unique. Again, English high tea with some snacks. Again, a tour that was very, very popular last year. So again, we have curated all of these tours. We have gone on them. We experienced them last year on our Journey of Jazz cruise. So we believe they're really great options for our guests and something we think you guys are going to really enjoy during the cruise.
Hey, Brad, thank you very, very much. Brad knows an awful lot about restaurants and wines and tours. He's been a cruise director who's traveled the world, and so when he tells you about certain tours and stuff, he really knows what he's doing. And also, I'm sure when you were listening to Gene talk about the town, you realize that this is someone who really knows his music. So we're now going to talk about signing up for the tours.
Oh, just
I'm
want to,
sorry. Oh,
no, but along
yes,
those,
that's jazz concert. Sorry.
yes, and I'm happy to tell you a little bit about that. We are going to be going to SF Jazz, which is the SF Jazz started as the San Francisco Jazz Festival, and since then they've grown to become one of the largest, actually the largest nonprofit jazz presenting organization in the world. And their facility, we're going to have a concert at their facility on the 21st, and we're going to get you transportation to there. We'll give you a nice tour of it. The beauty of their concert hall is this is a space that was designed for jazz. They worked with legendary acoustician Sam Burkow to design the space so that it would be conducive to jazz, but also allow the eclecticism that you see reflected on the Chris Botti tour. Now, who's going to be at the concert? We're working on something very, very special, and it's not quite ready to take out of the oven yet. We got to make sure that it's fully baked. But when you see it, you're going to be very, very excited, and we're looking forward to that. So stay tuned as we get those announcements out in the coming weeks.
And SF Jazz as a venue is, as far as I'm concerned, one of the most unique and exciting places to watch music. It is so different and so well constructed. It is just a wonderful venue just to see. You can tell by the picture that the way that the seating was constructed is very unusual. Okay, now we're going to talk about how you sign up for the excursions.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You want to talk about that for a minute?
Sure, I'd be happy to, Michael. So how you sign up for the excursion is actually very simple. Everything is on our Botti at Sea website. So all of the wine train tours and the winery tours and our sightseeing tours are all for sale now, and you can book right through our website. There's also a deeper description than what I gave you all on this call. It'll really kind of dive into what the day looks like. Our culinary tours, the descriptions are also all on the website. Those are not ready for to reserve just yet. We're still working out the menus and pricing, and then that will all be done within the next few weeks. And similar to SF Jazz, we will let you all know when SF Jazz and the culinary tours are available, and then those will be live on our website as well.
But what is available now is to be able to book a stateroom on the cruise. This cruise has sold out every year, and it's going to sell out again, but we do have staterooms available. You can book online or by calling the office directly during our business hours. The best way to do this is to go and look at the website, and that's bottyatsea.com, and you can see the various staterooms that remain available. And again, you can either book directly online, or if you have any questions, you can call us at the office. Our office, a reservation process is different than most companies. This is not a third-party reservation system or a call center. The people that answer the phones have been with the company for a long time. They understand the product. They don't have quotas. They don't call out. They are really here to help you find the right cruise, find the right cabin, and to make sure that you are ready to go. Okay, we're gonna answer some questions now, and
we've got
you got a couple?
I do. I have a couple. Jen has been responding to individual ones throughout the presentation, but we have a couple that have come up a couple times. And the primary one being, will there be a main show on board every night?
Every night there'll be a main, just like for those who have sailed with us before, this is our red blue format. There'll be a main show every night. There's actually two main shows, one for guests with a blue cruise identification cards, and one for guests with a red cruise identification cards. What does that mean? The theater very, very comfortably holds 50% of our guests. So we divide the evening between two shows. And there's a show at 5:30, and there's usually a show around 8:30. When it isn't your time for the show, that's when you go to dinner. On this particular cruise, the one thing which I can tell you is that Boz Scaggs is not doing two shows in the same evening. He's doing an early show one night in San Francisco, and a late and the second show on the second night. Melody Gardot will be doing the opposite. So one day you're going to see a Melody Gardot, and then the next day you see Boz Scaggs, whereas the other half of the cruise, it's going to be the other way around. But every other night, I believe that it is the same performer doing two shows. There's always a main show every night, and then after the main show, we have our cruising after dark, where we have all kinds of activities and dancing and fun. And when we're at sea, we're going to have main shows during the day, something a little bit different. We're going to have blue-red main shows during the day. And that's also when we have our t-shirt parties and gospel shows and other things. For those who have sailed with us before, it's a very similar format to the Smooth Jazz Cruise, to Boaty at Sea, Journey of Jazz. For those who have not sailed with us, email us and we will send you a profile of what most of our cruise programs look like, and you'll be able to see how we program the cruises.
Well, that addressed the next most common question, was, will there be music on the ship while we're during the day on the ship while we're at sea? So
Absolutely.
you answered that.
I mean, it's there when we're at sea, it is a full day of interviews, music, events. Absolutely the case. When we're not at sea, when we are in port, we have obviously an abbreviated schedule. We will have things first thing in the morning, films and coffee talks and things, and around 4 o'clock or so, we will begin the programming.
Just specific to the Elvis Costello show, he will be playing on board, not off board.
Correct.
Right? Okay.
Everything's on board. Elvis will be playing in Victoria, which is about a good 7 iron from his home. and he will be doing 2 shows there. Okay.
Okay. Okay, we've had a couple questions regarding the wine tours and the dining tours. Is transportation included if they purchase a wine tour with us?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Transportation is included for all of the wine tours and for the culinary tours in the evening. For the culinary tours that are during the day, we do not include transportation with those, mainly because we found most guests were opting to get off the ship and do something in San Francisco on the mornings and then would meet for lunch on their own at the restaurants. But for the evening dining tours, transportation is included for those.
Okay, and then a very specific question to that was, will the wine tours have them back to the ship in time for the nightly show?
Great
Absolutely.
question. Yes, they will.
Everything is geared for that. That is not a problem at all. Now, having said that, that's if you go on our wine tours. There are all kinds of other tours that are available to you, and they are not necessarily synchronized with our shows.
Okay, that led into a question. If they wanted to get off in San Francisco to meet a friend, can they get back on at night for the show?
Absolutely.
Of course.
Absolutely.
And then, but the friend is not invited to come to the concert at night on the ship, correct? This is for the concerts on board are just for people on the cruise.
Absolutely.
Got it. Got it.
Now, there may be extra tickets for this SF Jazz show.
Okay.
Okay. But that would be determined much later.
Okay. Okay. There was a question about, do I need a passport for this cruise?
Yes, you need a passport. You need everybody needs a passport these days.
Mhm.
That's how the cruises are running, and they are utilizing a facial recognition with the passports, and so yes, you need a valid passport.
Okay. Because this starts in Los Angeles and ends in Vancouver, will there be hotel recommendations for guests in Los Angeles?
100%, yes. We will have those very, very soon for you.
Okay, and that led to the next question was, how will we find out more information if we are a booked guest? How will we know the things we need to know to join the cruise?
If they are a book guest,
Yeah.
we have a series of letters that we send out. They are our get ready letters. They have all this information, and they usually start 5 months prior to sailing. So sometime in April or May, you'll be getting them, and there's at least 9 of them. Okay.
And then there was a question about beverage packages, and that would be part
Same
of that
thing.
information.
Same thing with beverage packages. Until you get your a reservation number from the ship, but we have all that information regarding beverage packages, specialty dining, spa treatments, usual items that we have on the ship.
Okay. Well, those were the primary group questions. People asked those multiple times. That's kind of the end. Jen has been responding, and if there's anything we didn't get to.
That'd be great. All I can tell you guys is it's the best of all worlds. We have a tremendous lineup. We're going to have great fun on the ship. You're going to be able to enjoy elements of a San Francisco and Napa and a Sonoma on a really easy basis. We're gonna take care of everything there is, and it's just a terrific cruise. The sailing is actually a repositioning cruise. We're on the Celebrity Summit, which is the ship that we use down in the Caribbean. Well, the way that it gets to the Caribbean is during the summer. It is in Alaska. So this is a ship going down from Alaska to the Panama Canal and going into the Caribbean. We were able to talk them into not only going from Vancouver to Los Angeles, which we're doing for a smooth jazz cruise, but then coming back, and that's what we're doing for the Botti cruise. So we're going to be doing this itinerary 2 weeks in a row, and I know I'm really excited about it because whatever restaurant I miss in San Francisco the first time, I'm going to pick up on the second time. And I'm definitely doing dim sum for one of those two. Thank you all again. If you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of us. My name is Michael Lazaroff. My email address is in the Weekender under the hour take. Feel free to email me at any time and I will get back to you, or you can call the office at toll free at 888-852-9987. We're in St. Louis. If you happen to be in St. Louis, come by the office and we'll buy you a cup of coffee. Anyway, have a good weekend and thank you all very much for participating in the Botti at Sea webinar.